Invincible Season 4, Episode 5. Wow. They did their thing. We got to talk about it, man, especially after the last episode with the whole Damien, Dark Blood, Hell Arc, Demon Arc thing. A lot of fans were very skeptical of what was going to come next and, you know, what kind of episode we were going to get after that. I will say, I couldn't wait, y'all. I went and I read the whole comics. Well, I didn't read the comics, but I watched like a 2-3 hour long YouTube video pretty much going through the comics and everything. So I understood what was going to happen as the series progresses. And episode 5 was really good. I mean, I think this is one of the best episodes of the season, if not the best episode. Definitely one of the top 5 episodes of the entire series, purely because of this second battle you guys see here in my image. And we're going to get to that towards the end. But obviously last episode, it ended off with Nolan, Omni-Man, and his partner pulling up to kind of come get Mark to convince them to join them in the Viltrumite war, right, in the coalition of planets. And that's how this episode starts out. We see Eve talking to dude, and she's asking him like, yo, has Omni-Man really changed? Like, is he, what's the deal? What's the real? And he's telling her like, yeah, I mean, he saved me, or I saved him first, but then he saved me, right? So we're kind of seeing this redemption arc for Omni-Man's character, kind of. He's trying to be a better person. He's trying to be a better guy. And then if kind of fast forward up, you see Omni-Man and Mark talking. And Omni-Man's like, yo, you know, I really want you to come help us. But I'm not going to force you. Like, it's up to you. It's your choice. But at the same time, Mark is like, well, it's not really my choice. I have no choice, because Mark knows if he doesn't come join them with the coalition of planets to help fight in the Viltrumite war, especially when you got guys like Thrag. And if you know anything about Thrag from reading the comics, I mean, he's the strongest character on this series by far. It's not even close, right? So he knows if he doesn't go fight that war and they lose, well, they're just gonna come take over Earth next, right? So he really has no choice. And he tells Omni-Man that, yeah, give him tonight and they'll leave in the morning. And, you know, obviously Mark hasn't that conversation with his mom, with Oliver. Oliver overhears, and Oliver's like, yo, I'm coming. And they're like, nah. And he's like, no, you guys can't stop me. Like, I'm an adult now. I'm not a kid no more. So obviously, Oliver is going to embark on that journey as well. And we finally got the interaction between Debbie and Omni-Man, and it was heartfelt, man. I mean, Omni-Man really, you could tell he really does feel bad. Like, you almost felt bad for Omni-Man in a sense, but then again, you don't, because all the terrible shit that he did. At the end of the day, he's still a Viltrumite. But he really did have a heartfelt moment, at least on his side, with Debbie saying like, yo, I'm sorry. I did love you. I did miss you. You know, you weren't a pet. You know what I mean? I didn't mean all those things I said. That wasn't who I am. And one thing that really interested me is that Omni-Man said that in the 20 years that he spent on Earth, even though he was a Viltrumite for 1,000+ years, she kind of made him human. You know what I mean? And that makes me think like, okay, well, do the other Viltrumites have hope? Like, if the other Viltrumites came to Earth and spent that time and made it with the humans, would they also have that same sentiment? Would they change like that? Maybe not, because they're a lot more gruesome than Omni-Man is. Omni-Man is probably the nicest Viltrumite we've seen thus far, outside of maybe Anissa, because she spared Mark, right? So that's still to be seen. But Debbie made it very clear, like, she didn't give a fuck. Like, she's not forgiving him. All this stuff that she did hurt him. She went on to explain how, like, does he know how many people go to sleep at night and see Omni-Man's face? Like, does he know how many people he's affected, including her? And she's mainly talking about herself and how she was affected, and how Mark was affected, and how their just whole family unit was affected and destroyed, and how everything, you know, that they built together was a lie, and how they had everything, and Omni-Man essentially destroyed and ruined it, and then left, up and left, and then came back again, or didn't come back again, but essentially had a son with another woman, and then let that son come over to Earth, and she raised him, and then he still didn't come back. You know what I mean? And now he all of a sudden comes back because he really needs Mark's help. Had he not needed Mark's help, would he really have came back? Nah, probably not, right? So then we also see Eve and Mark have one last conversation before they spend the night together. And Eve doesn't really want Mark to go, you know, but she also understands, you know, what the situation is, how he has to go and fight this war. He really doesn't have a choice. And Mark asked her like, yo, what was that thing that you wanted to tell me before my pops showed up? and she doesn't want to say. Obviously, it makes sense. Like, she's pregnant. She doesn't want to tell that to Mark right before he's going to go to war, because, you know, he might not want to go no more, or he might be stressing about it the entire time out there. And yeah, so it's very intriguing to kind of see that storyline, to see what Eve is going through. And I will say, Eve and Debbie do have a lot more, I don't want to say screen time, but their characters are a lot more flushed out in terms of who they are in this series than they are in the comics. In the comics, they don't really have much say in anything. They don't really have much complexity in their characters. They're just kind of like, oh, you know, I'm Omni-Man's wife, and I'm Mark's girlfriend. That's really all they are. But in this show, like, Debbie really has some character arc. Like, people actually talk about Debbie's character. Same with Eve. So they're a lot more flushed out in this series than they are in the comics, which I think is a great job. Shout out Robert Kirkman. He's done a phenomenal job adapting this series and also like extending on that. So obviously we get into the meat and potatoes. Oliver and Mark head out to space. They hop on the spaceship. Obviously Oliver and Omni-Man have their first interaction, and the first thing Omni-Man says is, yo, take him back. I didn't want him to be here, like, it's because of me. I didn't want him to die. This is a war. And Mark explains, like, yo, it's Oliver's choice. He's not a kid no more, you know, and you're making this about you. It's not about him. It's about you. And Omni-Man kind of concedes to that. And, you know, Oliver and him didn't really have much of a great interaction. And obviously we look forward to them kind of building that relationship. And as they're embarking on their journey, an explosion happens on the ship. And, you know, everyone gets out, and Mark gets out, and he realizes, like, oh, it's the Viltrumites. And it's not just the Viltrumites, it's Conquest, right? And Conquest is back for part 2. Now, what's very interesting about this fight in the series and not the comics is that in the comics, Mark, like, he asks Conquest how he's still alive, and Conquest explains that it's because of Cecil keeping him in that underground lair or whatever. That doesn't really happen in this series. Like, they don't talk about how Conquest is alive. Mark doesn't even ask. They don't really have that interaction. It's just straight to hands, which isn't necessarily a bad thing either. But you would expect that Mark would eventually realize, like, yeah, Cecil is the one. He's the reason that this happened, right? So obviously they go to blows. It gets very interesting. You know, Oliver's getting thrown around and he can't breathe. So they're telling him, like, go to this planet and catch your breath. Right, and once Oliver decides to do that, Conquest chases after Oliver to try to kill him. Mark chases after them and catches up and hits Conquest. And then him and Oliver, obviously, him and Conquest start fighting on that planet, whatever planet this was, some random ass planet with no people. And they start going to blows. It's a very intense, very gruesome fight. And dead ass for the majority of the fight, Mark's hands are on Conquest's neck, just strangling him. And Conquest is just throwing blow after blow after blow after blow at Mark's midsection. And it gets to the point where Conquest punches a hole in Mark's stomach, bro. Like a donut, pretty much like he did with Eve. But the difference is, like, he's literally pulling out, like, Mark's intestines as he's doing this, bro. Like, just pulling it out, pulling it out, trying to get Mark to let go. And the whole time, Mark was not rocking. He had his hands on Conquest's neck the entire time, and he managed to actually defeat Conquest. Mark actually managed to win the fight on his own. And it was really dope, man. And obviously by the time Omni-Man and Oliver show up, they see this gruesome scene. Mark is laying there with his arms out and his intestines out. Obviously, Conquest is dead. So it was a phenomenal episode. It was phenomenal, man. It was really good to see this. Great fight, great character arcs and development, great interactions between the characters and everything like that. I really enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to episode 6 and the rest of this series and this whole Viltrumite war, seeing Thrag and all these other people. Obviously, once they realize that Conquest has not come back, that's going to piss off the Viltrumites even more, and they're going to start kind of attacking these different planets and coming for these people, man. So it's going to be interesting when this Viltrumite war goes down. From what I read in the comics, the Viltrumite war is insane. There's casualties, and it's going to be very, very dope to see. So for you guys, if you guys are fans of Invincible, fans of my channel, you're new to this video, as always, make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow me on all platforms at Mr. Power or Mr. Power Universe. I will be recapping and breaking down the rest of these series, especially Invincible. I am going to do some other videos on, like, different characters in Invincible, character arcs, kind of what I expect moving forward, how I expect things to go down without spoilers or anything like that from the comics. So as always, I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.